All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh. All praises due. Peace and blessing to the elect of Israel who are out there practicing the law of liberty or following the law of liberty. Peace and blessings to you today. Hope your day has been going well so far, or your evening, or whatever time you're listening to me. So we are going to continue with the lost book of Judith. With the book of Judith. Not the lost book, but the book of Judith. Our lost book series. I think last time we left off in chapter 9, so we're going to pick it up in chapter 10, verse 1. So let's go ahead and get into it. Now after that she had ceased to cry unto the power of Israel, and hath made an end of all these words. She rose where she had fallen down, and called her maid, and went down into the house in the which she aboded in the Sabbath day, and in her feast days, and pulled off the sackcloth which she had on, and put off the garment of her widowhood, and washed her body all over with water, and anointed herself with precious ointment, and braided her hair of her head, and put on a tie upon it, and put on her garment of gladness, wherewith she had clad during the life of Manasseh her husband. And she took sandals upon her feet, and put about her bracelets, and her chains, and her rings, and her earrings, and all her ornaments, and decked herself bravely to allure the eyes of all men that should see her. So he's fixing herself up. Then she gave her maiden a bottle of wine and a cruse of oil, and filled a bag with a parch of corn and lumps of figs, and with fine bread. So she folded all these things together and laid them upon her. Thus they went forth to the gate of the city of Bethulia, and found standing there Uzziah and the ancients of the city, Chabris and Charmis. And when they saw her, that her countenance was altered, and her apparel was changed, they wondered at her beauty very greatly, and said unto her, The power of our fathers, give thee favor, and accomplish thy enterprise, to the glory of the children of Israel, and to the exaltation of Jerusalem. Then they worshiped God. And she said unto them, Command the gates of the city to be opened unto me, that I may go forth to accomplish the things whereof ye have spoken with me. So they commanded the young men to open unto her as she had spoken. And when they had done so, Judith went out, she and her maidens with her, and the men of the city looked after her until she was gone down the mountain, until she passed the valley, and could see her no more. Thus they went straight forth in the valley, and the first watch of the Assyrians met her, and took her, and asked of her, What people art thou, and whence comest thou, and whither thou goest? And she said, I am a woman of the Hebrews, and I am fled from them, for they shall be given to you to be consumed. And I am coming before Holofernes, the chief captain of your army, to declare the word of truth, and I will show him a way whereby he should go, and win all the hill country, without losing the body or life of any one of his men. Now when the men heard her words and beheld her countenance, they wondered greatly at her beauty, and said unto her, Thou hast saved thy life, and that thou hast hastened to come down to the presence of our Lord. Now therefore come to his tent, and some of us shall conduct thee until they have delivered thee to his hands. And when thou standest before him, be not afraid in thy heart, but show unto him according to thy word, and he will entreat thee well. Then they chose out of them 100 men to accompany her and her maid, and they brought her to the tent of Holofernes. Then was there a concourse throughout all the camp, for her coming was noised among the tents, and they came about her as she stood without the tent of Holofernes, till they told him of her. And they wondered at her beauty, and admired the children of Israel because of her. And every one said to his neighbor, Who would despise his people, that have among them such women? Surely it is not good that one man of them be left, who bring let go might deceive the whole earth. And they that lay near Holofernes went out, and all his servants, and they brought her into the tent. Now Holofernes rested upon his bed under a canopy, which was woven with purple, gold, and emeralds, and precious stones. So they showed him her, and he came out before his tent with silver lamps going before him. And when Judith was come before him, his servants, they all marveled at her beauty of her countenance. And she fell down upon her face and did reverence unto him, and his servants took her up. Chapter 11. Chapter 11. Then said Holofernes unto her, Woman, be of good comfort. Fear not in thy heart, for I never hurt any that was willing to serve Nebuchadnezzar or Nebuchadnezzar, the king of all the earth. Now therefore, if thy people that dwell in the mountains have not set light by me, I would not have lifted up my spear against them. But they have done these things to themselves. But now tell me wherefore thou art fled from them, and art come unto us. For art thou come for safeguard? Be of good comfort. Thou shalt live this night and hereafter. For none shall hurt thee, but entreat thee well, as they do the servants of King Nebuchadnezzar or Nebuchadnezzar, my lord. Then Judith said unto him, Receive the words of thy servant, and suffer thy handmaid to speak in thy presence, and I will declare no lie to my lord this night. And if thou wilt follow the words of thy handmaid, power will bring the thing perfectly to pass by thee, and my lord should not fail of his purpose. As Nebuchadnezzar, king of all the earth, liveth, and as his power liveth, who has sent thee for the upholding of every living thing, for not only men should serve him, but thee, but also the beasts of the field, and the cattle, and the fowl of the air should live by the power under Nebuchadnezzar and all his house. For we have heard of thy wisdom and thy policies, and it is reported in all the earth that thou art an excellent in all the kingdom, and mighty in knowledge, and wonderful in feats of war. Now as concerning the matter which Achior did speak in thy counsel, we have heard his words. For the men of Bethulia save him, and he declared unto them all that he had spoken to thee. Therefore, O Lord and governor, respect not his words, but lay it up in thy heart, for it is true. For our nation shall not be punished, neither can sword prevail against them, except thy sin against their power. And now that my Lord be not defeated and frustrated of his purpose, even death is now fallen upon them, and their sin hath overtaken them, wherewith they will provoke their power to anger, whomsoever they shall do, which is not fit to be done. For their victuals have fallen, and all their water is scant, and they have determined to lay hands upon their cattle, in purpose to consume all these things that power had forbidden them to eat by his law. And as resolved to spend the first fruit of the tenth of the wine and oil, which they had sacrificed and reserved for the priests that serve in Jerusalem before the face of our power. And with things it is not lawful for any of the people so much as to touch with their hands. But they have sent some to Jerusalem, because they also that dwell there have done the like, to bring them a license from the Senate. Now when they shall bring them word, they will forthwith do it, and they shall be given to thee to be destroyed the same day. Wherefore I thy handmaid know it all this, and fled from their presence, and power has sent me to work things with thee, whereas all the earth should be astonished, and whomsoever should fear it. For thy servant is religious, and serveth the power of heaven day and night. Now therefore, my Lord, I will remain with thee, and thy servants will go out by night unto the valley, and I will pray unto power, and he will tell me when they have committed their sins. And I will come and show it unto thee. Then shalt go forth with all thy army, and there should be none of them that should resist thee. And I will lead thee through the midst of Judea until thou come before Jerusalem, and I will set thy throne in the midst of thereof, and thou shalt drive them as the sheep that have no shepherd. And a dog shall not so much as open his mouth at thee. For these things were told me according to my knowledge, and they were declared unto me, and I have sent to tell thee. Then her words pleased Holofernes and all his servants, and they marveled at her wisdom and said, there is not such a woman from one end of the earth to the other, both for beauty of face and wisdom of words. Likewise, Holofernes said unto her, power hath done well to send thee before the people. Thy strength might be in our hands, and destruction upon them that lightly regard my Lord. And now thou hast both beauty in thy countenance, and witty in thy words. Surely that if thou do as thou hast spoken, thy power should be my power, and thou shalt dwell in the house of the king Nebuchadnezzar, and shalt be renowned throughout the whole earth. Hold on just a minute. Let me drink me a little tea here. All right. Chapter 12. Then he commanded to bring her in where her plate was set, and bade it that she should prepare for her and her own meats, and that she should drink of his own wine. And Judith said, I will not eat thereof, lest there be an offense, but provision shall be made for me of all the things that I have bought. Then Holofernes said unto her, if thy provision should fail, how should we give thee the light? For there be none with us of thy nation. Then said Judith unto him, as thy soul liveth, my lord, thy handmaid shall not spend those things that I have before the Lord work my hand in things that he hath determined. Then the servants of Holofernes brought her into the tent, and she slept till midnight, and she arose when it was towards the morning watch, and sent to Holofernes, saying, let my lord now command that thy handmaid may go forth unto prayer. Then Holofernes commanded his guard that they should not stay her. Thus she abode in the camp 3 days, and went out in the night into the valley of Bethulia, and washed herself in the fountains of water by the camp. And when she came out, she besought the Lord power of Israel to direct her way to the rising up of the children of her people. So she came in clean and remained in the tent, and then she did eat her meat at evening. And in the 4th day Holofernes made a feast to his own service only, and called none of the officers to the banquet. Then said he to Bagos, the eunuch, who had charge over all that he had, go now and persuade this Hebrew woman which is with thee, that she come unto us, and eat and drink with us. For lo, it would be a shame for our person if we shall let such a woman go, not having had her company. For if we draw her not unto us, she will laugh us to scorn. Then went Bagons from the presence of Holofernes, and came to her. And he said, let not this fair damsel fear to come to my lord, and to be honored in his presence, and drink wine, and be merry with us, and be made this day as one of the daughters of the Assyrians, which serve in the house of Nebuchadnezzar. Then said Judith unto him, who am I now that I should gainsay my lord? Surely, whosoever pleases him I will do speedily, and it should be my joy unto this day of my death. So she arose and decked herself with her apparel, and all her women's attire, and her maids went and laid soft skins on the ground for her over against Holofernes, which she had received of Bagos for her daily use, that she might sit and eat upon them. Now when Judith came in and sat down, Holofernes, his heart was ravished with her, and his mind was moved, and he desired greatly her company, for he waited a time to deceive her from the day that he had seen her. Then said Holofernes unto her, drink now, and be merry with us. So Judith said, I will drink now, my lord, because my life is magnified in me this day, more than all the days since I was born. Then she took and ate and drank before him, which her maids had prepared. Then Holofernes took great delight in her and drank more wine than he had drunk at any time in one day since he was born. Chapter 13. Now when the servants were come, his servants made haste to depart, and Begonus shut his tent without, and dismissed the waiters from the presence of his lord, and they went to their beds, for they were all weary because of the feast had been long. And Judith was left alone in the tent, with Holofernes lying alone upon his bed, for he was filled with wine. Now Judith had commanded her maids to stand without her bedchamber, and to wait for her coming forth, as she did daily. For she said she would go forth to her prayers, and she spake to Begonus according to the same purpose. So all went forth, none were left in the bedchamber, neither little nor great. Then Judith, standing by his bed, said in her heart, O Lord, power of all power, look at this presence upon the works of my hands, for the exhortation of Jerusalem. And for now is the time to help thy inheritance, to execute thy enterprise to the destruction of the enemies which are risen up against us. Then she came to the pillar of the bed, which was at Holofernes' head, and took down his function from thence, and approached his bed, and took hold of the hair of his head, and said, Strengthen me, O Lord, power of Israel, this day. And she smote twice upon his neck with all her might, and she took away his head from him. Dang, cut his head off. And tumbled his body down from the bed, and pulled down the canopy from the pillars. Anon after she went forth, and gave Holofernes his head to her maids. And she put it in her bag of meat. So they twain went together according to their customs unto prayer. And when they passed the camp, they compassed the valley, and went up the mountains of Bethulia, and came to the gates thereof. Then said Judith afar off to the watchman at the gate, Open, open now the gate. Power, even our power, is with us, to show his power yet in Jerusalem, and his forces against the enemies. He hath even done this day. Now when the men of her city heard her voice, they made haste to go down to the gate of their city, and they called the elders of the city. And then they ran all together, both small and great, for it was strange unto them that she was come. So they opened the gate and received them, and made a fire for a light, and stood around about them. Then she said to them with a loud voice, Praise, power, I say, for he has not taken away his mercy from the house of Israel, but hath destroyed our enemies by the hands this night. So she took the head out of the bag, and showed it, and said unto them, Behold, the head of Holofernes, the chief captain of the army of Assyria, and behold, the canopy wherein he did lie in his drunkenness, and the Lord had smitten him by the hands of a woman. And as the Lord liveth, who hath kept me in my way that I went, my countenance had deceived him to his destruction, and yet hath he not committed the sin with me, to defile the shame of me. Then all the people were wonderfully astonished, and bowed themselves and worshipped power, and said with one accord, Blessed be, O our power, which has today brought to naught the enemies of thy people. Then said Uzziah unto her, O daughter, blessed art thou of the most high power above all women upon the earth, and blessed be the Lord power, which has created the heaven and the earth, which has directed thee to the cutting off of the head of the chief of our enemies. For this thy confidence shall not depart from the heart of men, which remember the power forever. And power turned these to thee for a perpetual praise, to visit thee in good things, because thou hast not spared thy life for the affliction of our nation, but hast revenged our ruin, walking a straight way before our power. And all the people said, So be it, so be it. All right, I'm going to stop right there. That's the end of chapter 13. I don't like these videos to run too long. Like I always say, you guys listen to it a couple of times. Meditate on it. And may Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh bless you today.